Hello everyone and welcome to LSI Summer Season. We're here today for the Bahrain Grand Prix on the Saturday Championship. And we're just underway for qualifying. Alright, who's going to get it here? A little bit of a lag spike, sorry for that. Hopefully it's all fixed now. Okay, Dark Soul currently leads the way on Wallow. Dark Soul in the Red Bull. Of course, we've got Reese in P2, Breezer, David, Ballant, Larlock in P6. So that is currently the whole grid. And I think that might be it. We do have Blake and JMO signed up to race, but they're not actually here. We'll see if they join later on. But right now, it's going to be the grid. We can still have a decent race with this amount of drivers. We had a very, very entertaining race yesterday evening. Now, Davint's taken it away from Dark Soul. Can Dark Soul come back? And more importantly, what tyre is Davint on? He qualified on the medium yesterday and did the alternate strategy. It was a lot quicker than the other drivers, but he just couldn't get through the traffic, so he's trying a bit of a different strategy here. He's going for that soft tyre, and he's going to try and go for pole position. He'll come around the final few corners very, very shortly, and is it going to be enough? That is the question that we'll be asking in the McLaren, or will Dark Soul be able to get him on the final corner? It does look like Davint's is going to take it now. He comes across the line. What's it going to be? And it's a 26.6. Oh, what a close margin for Dark Soul. Dark Soul takes pole position after that. What a close margin. How about that for a one-shot quali? Wow, a 0.040 seconds. Dark Soul takes pole position just about. Davint P2, Reese in P3, Breezer, Wallow, and then we have Ballant on that medium tyre with Larlock at the back of the grid. No one actually disqualified there. We go through the drivers' instance section, the pit stop section, and we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI Summer Season. We're here today for the sprint race of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Sorry for joining the stream a little bit late, but we're finally here and we're ready to go. So, that is Dark Soul leading the way. Very, very good job. It didn't look like it on our screens, but he's managed to get it in the end. Followed by Davidson P2, who's looking quick the whole time. And now, of course, we have Reese in P3, Breezer in P4. For Alfa Romeo today, didn't have a great time yesterday round, but they've got some laps under their belt and they can sure have a good go at it today. We've got Waller in P5 on their first appearance in the summer season, and we have Ballant in P6 and Larlock in P7. Ballant leading the championship for the Saturday tier. with Red Bull leading the constructors. So Darksalt's going to try and change that Drivers' Championship and put himself ahead. We'll have to wait and see. And let's see if Davins can score some points for the Alfa Romeo team, if he can score for the McLaren team and maybe get them into the Constructors' Championship fight and himself into the drivers as well. Brody, of course, isn't competing this weekend, so it's a lot of points that these drivers can gain. We're about to go racing, so hold your breath and clench your butt cheeks. Alrighty. Lights out and away we go down to turn 1. Who's going to get it? Can Darksalt hold the leader as Davids going to challenge into turn 1? Look like he's challenging. He tries to go defense. This is not going to be enough. And Davids on the inside. Is he going to be able to take it around the outside now? Back to the inside he goes. Going to have to ride that curve. Still sub of time between the two. And can the Red Bull inherit the lead back again? Or is it going to be Davids ahead? What a start from him. They're still side by side into turn 4. Now they head down to turn 5 and they're still side by side. Who's going to back off? And it is Darksalt in the end as Davids manages to outbrake him. It's not worth it this early on in the Grand Prix, but what a first opening sector for these two. Very, very good job indeed. Reese holds P3. Then we have Reza Larlock up to P5, Ballant and Wallow in P7. What a start from those guys. Mega stuff, and I'm sure this is going to set us nicely for the race. We'll have to wait and see. I think, was that a Ballant who started on the medium tyre? So they're currently 1.2 seconds away, not in DRS range, but they still do have a chance later on. We're actually going to have a look at the track map just to begin the race, of course, and see where everybody is. And that is Darren's going for a purple sector. Of course, he is leading the Grand Prix, so it's pretty much expected, but lovely stuff indeed for this man. It's what he needed to do. Darksalt got a win last time around. It was JMO winning the sprint, and Darksalt, of course, he won the feature race, but he's currently in P2. Sorry for the quick mute, just had to sort something out there, but we should be good to go now. Davids is leading onto lap 2 now. He's not got DRS, well, he's not got to worry about DRS just yet, but he will within the next few laps. So all Darksalt has to do is push a little bit just to get into that DRS range, and then he can probably start relaxing a little bit. Alrighty, so they get through the sector side by side with each other just a minute ago. And actually, if you look at this, Reese has lost DRS range from the Red Bull ahead, and it looks like Davids has made a little bit of a gap, but it's still not enough to really mean that Darksalt's out of the picture for DRS here. They have got to wait for the second DRS straight, of course, not the start-finish straight for that first dose of DRS, basically. Reese is right behind these guys, so he's going to be trying to get past Sword as soon as he can. I should say Sword, it's Reese. And Reese is going to be trying his best to catch up to the DRS of these guys ahead, but looks like Breezer might have the advantage here. Now, with Larlock in P5, he's not on that medium tire, but he's made his way from the back of the grid. Ballant is on that medium tire, and they've got Wallow right behind him. So Wallow, does he have DRS? Is he in DRS range? Yes, he is. So he would have an opportunity here at making an overtake on Ballant. We're going to have a quick look at the race leaders. I don't think they're going to be close enough. We're going to go back with the McLaren and the Alpha, and then we're going to go back with Ballant and Wallow. Ballant and Wallow, they're not going to be making any moves, so no one's going to be making any moves just yet. They're just going to try and close each other up a little bit and see what they can do. And Ballant actually did close up on Larlock there a little bit, so maybe that's showing that he's under pressure from George, and George is able to push Ballant a little bit more. He doesn't want to get overtaken by Wallow, so I don't know what I was calling him. George, my brain's all over the place. I see George in the chat and I call him George. Wallow is right behind, and he's putting the pressure on Ballant here. DRS available. Probably not going to be able to go from moving to this corner, but actually, yes, he will. On the inside goes Wallow. and Balint can't really do much about it. Those tyres are not going to hold on, but around the outside, he has the traction now to the inside, and Wallow, can he make the move work around the outside? Can he make it work as they go side by side? It's so close between the two, within track limits, and no contact is made, and I think that might be Wallow ahead of these two, but I think that Balint is still trying their best. They're still trying their best to hold it, but he's forced to the inside line. I thought it went off the circuit there, and I've gone to the wrong camera, but I think that's just DRS for Balint, and that will allow him to get back ahead. A very good attempt by Wallow there. He managed to capitalise on a big mistake from Balint. It just wasn't enough in the end. Darksalt closes up nicely. These guys are side by side as Reese tries to stick his nose back in, but that's contact, and he's not able to save the spin. Down the order he'll go. He'll drop behind Balint and Wallow, but he's still in this race. He's still in this race. It's only the sprint race as well. Everybody who finishes this race at the moment will score points too. I think the race was maybe a little bit too far back from when we were looking on the camera, of course. It might have changed. It might be a bit of a different situation. We'd have to see the replay to get a full analysis on it. But from what we saw, it did look like there was a bit of a wing touch instead of a side-by-side wheel touch. So can't quite say what happened, but Breezer wasn't affected by it. He stays in P3. He's just got a gap ahead to the leaders, and he just needs to try and do something about it. And that's Davins trying to fake Darksalt here. He knows how powerful this undercut is. Darksalt didn't have any laps in yesterday. Unfortunately, he disconnected from both with some very weird issues. He's got them fixed today, so that's brilliant stuff. And now he's going to get his first opportunity at going for the lead of the Grand Prix around the outside. Is it going to be possible? No. Davins is going to try and squeeze him back to the inside, but now his line is compromised. Going down to turn 8, he still tries to squeeze him off, and he forces Darksalt to take a very tight line. So he's immediately taken away that compromise. And I thought maybe Darksalt could have done a bit of a switchback manoeuvre and got him into turn 8 on the inside, but it wasn't possible. And Davins has got ahead just about. I don't know if you'd say brute force, because that was quite aggressive. There was a bit of contact, but there wasn't any damage-worthy contact, I don't think. So it's just about on the margins, but I would have to check the replay if that was reportable, but I think that's just on the margins. Could I ask a quick question to everybody watching? Is the stream lagging or not? Because I had some comments yesterday about a lagging stream, but this time it's not. And Davins finally goes into the pit lane. Darksalt stays out, and they're going to be able to extend. The pit lane does... Well, the tyre switchover does come around about now, so it's not a strange time to pit. Wallow's going to react, going to get that undercut. He was ahead of Balint, I believe, going into the pit lane, so he's now going to get a bit more of an advantage. Of course, Balint is on that medium tyre, and he's going to be faster later, but Wallow should be able to get a bit of a jump here. Juicy's good. Awesome. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Wallow's coming out just behind Reese, who has pitted, and you can see that undercut was absolutely mega. Reese has managed to get ahead nicely. He's made a move, and with the gap that he's got on Wallow, he will probably jump Balint as well. Alright, let's have a look at a bit more data here. We'll look at the position changes. 4 positions gained by Lalek, so really well done. He hasn't pitted yet, so it could change shortly. Time penalty wise, we have absolutely nothing, and the bottom 3 have made pit stops, no one else ahead, so we'll keep that in mind. Darksalt still leads the way, and he hasn't pitted just yet. Only 1 lap ago did Davins pit, so is he going to react immediately, or is he going to start a bit longer? He's going to react immediately, so he's going to get a bit of an issue with the undercut, but I guess he doesn't want any more of an undercut. He will have one lap fresher tyres, which could be a lot easier here at Bahrain. Watch Davids come around the final corner now, and he should be able to jump out ahead. Balint hasn't pitted yet. They're the only one starting on that alternate tyre. Here we go. Dark Salt isn't quite on the pit exit. Can we see them? We will see them, but not for long, as Davids stays out ahead of Dark Salt. I think he was going to try and outbrake him. He wasn't too far. Maybe that was just me having a little bit of a fantasy, thinking that he would try and go for a move out the pit lane, but he doesn't. But just about, I think he's going to get the DRS here. Needs to warm up the tyres a little bit and catch up, but I know that Davids knows what to do here. He's going to be pushing as much as he can, because if he could escape the DRS now, he should have a much easier job for the future. While we're streaming on YouTube now, we're just giving it a test to try and build up. And all of a sudden, I've just become really ill. I do apologise for that. But we're going to try and build up our YouTube channel a little bit and see how it goes. Alright, sorry for muting there. I'm all good. And I'm back. Right. Balint into the pit lane, so that's the standard strategy for him. He's going to have a nice amount of tyre performance. Move for the lead on lap 8 out of 14. And a switchback is prominent for Davids. So, very, very cheeky there on the throttle. A little bit too cheeky, honestly. Dark Salt holds on, and he's got the DRS to back it up. Now, let's see. Balint comes out just ahead of Larlock, and Wallow actually isn't in the battle here. So, Larlock's right behind. They've got warm tyres, and they do have DRS as they go into turn 4. A very, very tight line that could have been a little bit dangerous, but if Balint can get these tyres up to temperature quickly, which I think he might have, he will be able to jump ahead of Larlock, and Larlock might not actually be able to do anything about it. I got ill because you got in? No, not because of that reason. I've been ill all day anyway. It's just it cleared up, and now it's come back as soon as I pretty much started the race. So yeah, I apologise for that, but it's just going to be how I am for the next few months. Simple hay fever. Alrighty. And Balint is actually right behind Reese, trying to get to that below 1 second zone. Did they get it? That was very, very tight, and they might have across the line, and they did. They're not using it. They're not using it. Why aren't they using DRS? I don't think they know they have it. I don't believe it. They've just got DRS, but they never even used it. They've caught up anyway, unless the light wasn't on and they were still using it anyway. I don't know. They're using it now, and they're catching up to Reese here. Reese in P4, looking for just outside the podium, back where they were earlier on, but of course they're not close to Breezer to really fight. Goes a little bit defensive, but goes back to the racing line. Balint's not going to be able to go for a move just yet, a little bit too far back, but they're looking pacey on those soft tyres, and they've got the advantage with the strategy here. Dark Salt, of course, has taken the lead of the Grand Prix, so they did enough to get back into that DRS and make a move on Davids. So the battle is still on, and right now, between these guys, it just depends on who's going to be smart about it and who's going to go for a move at what time of this race, because it's a very easy, I say easy, it's a track that has a lot of opportunities to overtake. Reese has been passed by Balint as they go into, is that turn 12? So they're now turn 14, no, they went into turn 11, I think. That's where the move is done. Davids is right behind, but they're not going to be close enough to make a move. They might have a go into turn 4, but right now, I think they're probably going to be a bit too far back. As the CSLDD, it's doing good. Had a couple issues, but it's all fixed now, so great. And rig, homemade one. I went for a homemade one. It's not a bad homemade one. It's a good homemade one. It's like a solid permanent job. It's not it's not just like a plank of wood on a stick and stuff like that. It's proper solid and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, back to this. Davins is behind, but they're not really close enough to make a move. And this might be strategic. Very close to the track limits, and I think they tried to delay their re-entry to the circuit there to try and avoid a warning. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Did it look like that? They've got half a battery at the moment. Dark Salt a lot less. So right now, Davins has an advantage, despite being behind. Actually, being behind at this stage of the race is probably an advantage, because you're going to get the DRS. Dark Salt has to start saving ERS here, maybe even let Davins go through for the lead, because otherwise it's going to get to the final few stages of the Grand Prix and he's going to be in big, big trouble. Well, I did get a time penalty. I'm not quite sure when he got it, but that's obviously not too good. So he's lifting and coasting here. I'm going to have a quick look. It still doesn't mean he's not running out of fuel, but it looks like he's got enough fuel. I think he might just be saving ERS. Alrighty, so Dark Salt. Got to be strategic about this. We've got Wallow and P7 at the back of the grid now. They were in the battle earlier on, but the medium tyres just haven't quite switched on for them. They, of course, do have free choice of tyres going into the feature race. There you go. Larlick in P7, and Ballard has just made a mistake, I believe, because they've dropped right behind Reese now. So they're about almost 3 seconds away from the Mercedes, and Ballard, by doing that, his tyres are going to be a lot more worn and a lot hotter, so he's not really going to be able to catch up very easily. And I think by doing that, that might be it for Ballard. He might be down to P5 and not going to fight for a P4. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how he lost it, but he did. Go back to the top 2. Is Davins going to be making a move here? He's not using any ERS. You can see he's saving it. Will Dark Salt recognise this? No. He's using the ERS as well. He has to use his ERS to stay ahead. And now he's going to be in trouble. Davins knows what he's going to do, and he's just waiting. He's just waiting. Dark Salt's got to figure it out now. He's got a lap, pretty much, to save and then defend. But at the moment, he's not doing it. I wonder what he's thinking right now. Alrighty. So the braking zone. Of course, Davins is just waiting. Let's go back to this battle, actually, with Ballard, who is actually catching up to Reese a little bit here, and they might be able to get back into that DRS range. So I've doubted them a lot here. I thought those tyres would have been done after a spin, but they're not that old. He's spent quite a bit more time on the mediums to give himself this advantage, and it's working right now. He is closing on Reese, but just will he be able to get close enough? He's got a bit of ERS. Reese has got a little bit. It would be enough to defend, I think, maybe on one straight, but not much more than that. Ballard hasn't got much more of an advantage, but it's enough to determine a move, probably. I don't know, that kind of contradicted myself there. But Ballard is almost in DRS range, and they might be able to use a bit of ERS to catch up into turn 4, and then they'll be in for a possible move on the final few laps. Now we have Davin staying behind Dark Salt this lap, but they got a lot closer than before, and they're just waiting. Of course, it's lap 13 out of 14, so we've got about 1.5 laps remaining for these two. And I assume that Davitt will be attempting a move on at the start-finish straight with that amount of ERS, because he'll be then able to defend if he needed to into turn 4. But because he's got so much ERS, he can probably get a good enough run into turn 1 that he wouldn't even need to defend. Look at Dark Salt with his ERS. He's got not much at all. So really, Dark Salt is in big trouble here, and I think that might have decided the race winner. We're going to go on to the final lap here, and watch on board. Got a couple more corners until we start that one, but here we go. We're on the final corners, and we're on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Davitt's going to be using all of that ERS. As you can see, Dark Salt's light is flashing. Davitt's goes to the inside as that is Dark Salt not really able to do much about it. He had a quick look, and I think he's trying to outbrake him there. He's having a quick look on the inside as well. He got a pretty good run, a pretty good braking point, a pretty good exit. He's going to get the DRS as well, but I think Davitt's just going to hold on. That ERS is just too powerful for a move onto this straight, and he's done it. He's done it. Ballot and Reese. Reese holds on for now. Will Ballot be able to get back through? He's got the DRS, I believe, or has Reese got it? Reese has got it. ERS is available for Ballot, but it's not enough. And Reese is going to hold on. Some interesting manoeuvres, but he's going to hold on. And Ballot will not be able to get through. And I think that is the battles been decided already. We're going to go battle with these guys, but look at that. Look at that. Davids is breaking away like an absolute madman, and no DRS will even be available for Dark Salt. Davids has done it. Well done. What a play indeed. He just sat there, waited in that DRS, and I think that's going to be the race win, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a couple more corners to go through, and he will hold on. I did not realise that Ballin and Reese are still battling it. I thought that Reese might have had it, but no. Ballin's having a go here. He's having a look. They're both pretty much dead on ERS, so they're just going to have to wait it out. Davids crosses the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Ductel P2, Breezer P3. And who's it going to be for a P4 finish? Is it going to be the Mercedes, or is it going to be the Aston? Around the final corner, can Ballin get him on the exit? He's going to get the DRS, but it's going to be too late, and Reese is going to hold on, and that's a P4 for Reese, and a P5 for Ballin. What a battle they just had. And then we have Larlock followed by Waller in P7. What a race. Wasn't too bad. It wasn't actually too bad, was it? It was not too bad. Fair enough. Fair enough. How about that? Davids wins. Driver of the day. Well done. Very well deserved. And on the top step of the podium, finally this season, Davids is victorious. Well done indeed. The Swiss driver wins for the first time, and that's Davids on at top. Dark Salt P2, Breezer in P3. And we have Reese, Ballin, Larlock and Wallow finishing off the grid. Fastest lap, of course, goes to Davids as well. We're going to have a quick look at the driver section, the incident section and the pit stop section. And then we'll be back for the feature race. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. Alrighty, thank you for waiting. We'll be there in a minute or two. We'll see you in a minute. Sui, welcome everybody to the Bahrain Grand Prix this Saturday to the feature race this time. Lovely voice crack, alrighty. So, this time, Davids does line it up on pole. We thought he did last time, but in the end, by the smallest of margins, Darksalt took it. He's taken the win for the sprint race. He's now qualified on pole. He takes an 8-point advantage this weekend already. Darksalt's going to get a second bite of the cherry right here. Now, we have Breezer in P3, followed by Reese in P4. Then we have Ballant in P5, with a lovely battle of Reese. And we have Larlock with Wallow in P7. Wallow did really well in that first stint. Let's see if he can get it done this time. Once again, we'll see. I have no setup. No way! Oh, no, no, no! Ah. And we can't do anything. Only one driver. By rules, we can't do anything because it's only one driver's that affected. If it's like a significant amount of the grid, then maybe, but it's not. And do you know what setup you're using? I mean, whatever it is, I hope it can go well. We have Reese leaving and joining the session. Hopefully they'll be okay. I don't quite know what just happened, but hopefully Darren's setup will still be able to allow them to race a little bit. Alrighty, so hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks. We're about to go racing for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This time Davids is on pole in the McLaren. Ouch, standard. Not good. Lights out and away we go down to turn one. Who's going to get it? Will Davids be able to secure a good run into turn one? And what tyre are they on, actually? That's a good question. Darksalt goes straight to the outside line. Both on the medium tyre here. Round the outside. Can he get it to work? Onto the curb he goes. He forces his nose through. Davids has to leave the space. Oh, no! Davids! Oh, no, he's out! He's out! He's managed to somehow keep it out the wall. But that is big, big damage for Davids. Oh, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And that is the pole sitter, the race winner of the sprint race, already down the order. No safety car will be deployed, but he's rage quit. So he's going to get a penalty for that. But that is Larlock in P2. Breezer now in P3. Ballant in P4. Wallow in P5. Then we have Reese down to P6. And he's had a big, big issue. Down in P8. I don't know what happened there. but that is not good. Not good at all. Don't quite know what's happened there, and I think that's the AI controlling the car, is it? Yeah, that's not ideal for Reese. He had a pretty bad race last time around, and it's just not gone too much better. That is a virtual safety car. And Reese once again leaving the session. That's also going to be a penalty. But nothing we can do about it now. Alrighty, virtual safety car is deployed, and that is now 5 drivers left of this race already. We have Dark Salt leading the way. He's got Larlick right behind, but as the virtual safety car ends mid-corner, that's very, very painful. But he's managed to let it not affect them too badly. And Larlick is into this battle, so really, really good stuff. And, yeah. Okay. The only fix that I can think of for that is to leave and rejoin and hope that it works. I do apologise for that. I think that must have been because did you disconnect and rejoin in the sprint? I can't remember. Wow, the F1 2021 game's bugging even more than I actually first initially thought. No, you're still in the race. It's just you're quite far back, and you're. What is happening? Well, that's going to cause a safety car, I assume. If not a safety car, the car will be disqualified. You are still in the race, but I think this is going to be it, because your AI is just going to ram it into the wall. There you go. And that is going to be it. That is going to be... Restart the race. Okay, sorry for that, Reese. I will message you after tonight and see if I can talk to you about any fixes, but I don't know if there are going to be any fixes for that. I think that's pretty unfortunate, and that's just what happened. Did you disconnect earlier on, and do you know why you disconnected? That's the first question. I don't quite know why that's happened. It's a known bug in the past, but that is very weird. Alrighty, Dark's not there leads the way. He's got a bit of a gap between him and the car behind, but he's caught it back up, Larlick. Larlick's doing a pretty good job, actually, and he's keeping nice and close. Dark Salt isn't breaking away too much. Breezer's in between, or just behind, I should say. Then we have Ballet in P4, Wallow in P5. Okay, so that must be a bug, a game issue. At least it's not a hardware issue, I assume. And that is actually Larlick going to go for a move into turn 1 on the inside of Dark Salt. I did not realise they're actually on the soft tyre. I can't believe that, but they're on the soft tyre. They've got the DRS again. Are they going to be able to get a good enough run? They're going to use the ERS, but they're not going to be close enough. They're going to have to wait for another lap. Yeah. I know the bug. I know it's happened. I don't know if you could have maybe tried to switch it if you paused, but I think... I don't know. I don't know what the solution would be. Honestly, a lock up there for Larlick, and Breezer might be able to make a move here. No, he's going to have to wait. I think Larlick, has he used a bit of ERS to get a better exit? I don't quite know, but for now, he's just going to have to wait. Anyway, Larlock now lost that DRS range as Dark Salt's able to get away with the mistake that Larlock just made. DRS will now not be available, I don't think, for Larlock, and he's going to be in trouble from Breezer behind. Breezer's going to get a lovely slingshot if they go for a move here into the tracks of Dark Salt, but they're way too far behind. Larlock has a lot of straight line speed in that car and a lot of grip into the corners, so he's able to catch up immediately, but that's actually Dark Salt's AI there, and Dark Salt, believe it or not, has disconnected from the session. Honestly, I don't know if this is intentional by Codemasters. If it's to try and make more hype for the F122 game, maybe. I don't know if they've intentionally done this. It does seem suspicious and extremely annoying. But at this rate, with what's happening, it just looks weird. Dark Salt now dropping even further down the order. Wallow's just coming to the pit lane onto a set of hard tyres. Let's have a look at some data on our screens. Have a look at the position changes real quick. 5 positions now gained by Larlock, who's leading the way, and Breezer is in P2. Then we closely have, not that one, we closely have the tyre situation on board. I have no idea why my game was doing that. Larlock now leads the way, but Breezer's going to be right there, and with that medium tyre he's got on right now, he's got the alternate strategy. He would have maybe an advantage later on. He's going to have to extend quite a bit here. You do need to do, I think, about 12 laps on the mediums, maybe a couple more laps, maybe 13. I think, if I remember correctly, and then the rest of the race on the medium. So 12 lap on the softs, I should say. So they're going to have to go until 12 laps remaining of the race, which would be, I think, was that lap 17? So they're going to be going till lap 17, 18 maybe, I think, or was that 16? 16 on the mediums? I'm not sure. I'm completely dumb, stupid, and we'll just have to wait and see how it plans out. But yeah, anyway, it's what it is. Larlock holds on for the time being, and as I was trying to say, these guys in the DRS train holding on to the rear of Larlock, they're going to gain a lot of time, so their pit stops will completely be not completely counteracted, but really helped out by this, because they'll be able to drag along the tyres or their car when Larlock's tyres are more in the window. Equally, Larlock can use this as an advantage as well. If he can hold on with the medium tyre runners while his softs are dead and gain a bit more time, he should have an advantage, but it's just, will he have the advantage on pace later on? The tyres may do so. The medium tyres may have more pace, but I think when you get into that pit, when you do the pit stops, the soft tyres aren't going to be actually fast. No, they're going to be too fast, sorry, for the medium tyre. It's Dark Salt back in this race. So far they are, so good to see them back, but of course they've now lost the lead, and they still do have a chance to get it back, but that's really not ideal. 6 seconds behind now in P4. See if they can bring that back up in a little bit, but the battle we need to focus on once again with Breezer is on Larlock now. David's rather look at it after the race. Sorry for that. And a lovely exit there for Breezer. Larlock over the curb, and he makes a mistake. They're pretty much equal in pace in the straight line until that DRS was available, and Breezer just blasts through. Now, of course, Laluk will get DRS and they will be able to get back, but I think that's probably going to be it, and he's not really going to be able to do much about it. Oh, big mistake, and Ballett's going to get DRS. He's going to get a lovely time and he's going to be going through, and Laluk, just like that, has lost both positions to the cars around them. But how about that? Ballett makes a mistake and lets him back through. Breezer, though, after all of that, is now out of DRS range already. They didn't even need to push. Those two mistakes were enough to cause both drivers to lose that DRS, and they're going to be fighting each other. Around the outside goes Ballett into turn 10. He's going to make it work. It's very, very nice indeed. Lovely, lovely stuff. Laluk does cooperate, to be fair, but that was a very, very nice move. He knows that he's got to do it. He's got to try and follow his fellow strategist, whereas Laluk is on that soft tyre. But now Laluk will get that DRS and have a possible opportunity at passing once again. He has a lot of ERS though, Ballett, so he could defend quite easily here. Now, Breezer has unlocked some unreal pace. He's using a little bit of ERS, but he's still got quite a lot here. Watch on board and see from the rear of Ballett. Will Laluk be able to catch up enough? He's got a bit of ERS, but not too much, especially compared to the Aston. Closes up a bit here. He might be able to get within overtaking range on the DRS. No, not yet, but anyway, I think that's probably going to be it pace-wise. He's probably going to drop back into the corners, especially with a mistake like that. That's not ideal. He's going to have to pit. He's still got a couple more laps on these tyres. He can't just pit right now, otherwise he'll get a puncture like we saw Cohen do, and a big mistake and a very, very, very lucky save there from Laluk riding that curb. That was a very, very quick reaction from them that will allow Darksalt to be nice and close. Alrighty, so Darksalt 1.2 seconds behind, almost within DRS range. You can see how good those tyres are. Does he have damage actually? He doesn't, but he's struggling a lot on those tyres through the fast corners, and it's not helping him at all. And in theory, it should be a pretty straightforward move for Darksalt here. He's got a bit of ERS to use, more than Laluk's had earlier on at least. Is Laluk really going to go into the pit lane? He's really going to go into the pit lane. Okay. Right, he's gone into the pit lane. That is very, very interesting. And he's going to have a hard time on those medium tyres, but he's willing to make them work. Darksalt inherits P3, and he also inherits a lot of clean air, so he'll be able to get an advantage off that very, very nicely. Alrighty, so there is a bit of a gap on everyone right now. We'll go and have a look at these guys, or this guy, Wallow in P5 right now. As long as he finishes this race, he will score points. He's a little bit further back than these guys, but maybe he can catch up later on. I'm not quite sure. Davitz is an AI car, of course, but Wallow is the final running car right now. But still, it'd be good points, and it'd be great points for his first weekend as well. He did score points, of course, in the sprint race, so points in the feature race would also be awesome, and it would be the first points to Haas as well. So that would be really, really good to see. Their teammate not attending today, but they did attend yesterday for Alpine. They scored some lovely points as well. So yeah, great stuff from these two guys. They have come from lower tiers, but they have made a lot of progress. And as we saw on that first stint in the sprint races from both drivers on Friday and Saturday, of course different drivers, but they both did very well in the first stints, and they definitely made a lot of progress. So it's really, really good to see. It's just a couple of mistakes that need to polish off, and I think they should be pretty competitive. Alrighty, so let's go back to the race leader here. He is leading by quite a nice margin at the moment, and he shouldn't really need to worry about any undercuts. Lalek will be faster, but is he going to be enough to actually counteract an undercut? I'm not entirely sure. Breezer is doing a great job right now, and at this rate, or this stage of the Grand Prix, he could be on his way to take his third victory. That would be awesome. He, of course, took a double victory at Hungary last weekend in the Friday tier. He unfortunately didn't actually finish the feature race on the Saturday, but yesterday he didn't finish either races. He got a couple laps in the sprint race. He actually finished the sprint race, sorry. He didn't get any points though, and then he did DNF from the feature race. This time he's really in it. He's got a podium in the sprint race, and in the feature race he's going for the win here. Looking further behind, Darksel's pretty quick. He's pretty quick, and he's catching to Balint quite nicely. Will he catch before the pit stops? I don't quite know. We want to see them probably go to about lap 17, I think it was I saying? Is that even correct? So takeaway 2, takeaway 3. Yeah. Okay, so lap 17, 18 is when we're going to be pitting, I think. Maybe 16 if we needed to. So that is going to be 5 laps, is that? I can't count. I honestly can't count. Okay, I will do. Thank you, David. Sorry for that. I'll check it out. Alrighty. So, Darksel almost within the 1 second range of the Aston ahead. They're closing nicely. Will they be able to close soon enough, though? That is the question. Will the pit stops come into effect? I think he is. At this rate, he is. He's catching. Will he even catch this lap? He's close. I don't think he's in DRS range, though. Have a look. No. 6/10 at the moment. Maybe if he can get a good enough run, he'll be able to have a go into turn 1. He'll have to use a bit of ERS, which he's got this time, compared to the sprint race. He is closing the smallest amount, but no. Balint has just immediately taken it away. He's pretty rapid in a straight line, the Aston. So really well done. He's got a lot of ERS to use as well, so he can defend any day of the week. Alrighty, so we have Darksel in P3 catching. He needs a little bit more time. He seems to be pretty rapid in the high-speed corners, honestly. So if he can catch up a little bit more into the S section, the uphill S section, then he'll be good. Alrighty. Uphill we go. Through the fast corners. He's gained some time. Maybe it wasn't the fast corners, maybe it was actually the... Actually, no, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. He gained into turn 11, I'm pretty sure, quite a bit. On the straights, Balint is an absolute machine. He isn't seeming to use that much ERS. He's going to the pits, though. That's a little bit early. He's going into the pits. That's not going to get DRS from that, so that's an advantage, if you like. But Dotson now has clean air. He'll be able to push a little bit. And Breezer maybe wasn't looking for that. He was probably hoping that they'd fight a little bit more. That is a 3.3 second gap as Breezer had an issue. I don't know. I didn't see that. All of a sudden, it's gone from a 5-second gap to a 3-second gap. Which is extremely weird, unless that was it changing from the interval of No, that doesn't make any sense. That is very weird. Sorry for that. I don't quite know what happened, but Dark was all of a sudden gained a lot of time onto the back of Breezer. And looking at pit stops, well, it's gone for that medium tyre. And the gap is about a 20-second gap, so yeah, let's say 21, 22 seconds is the pit stop window, maybe. Or maybe say 20 seconds, as of course he's got those hards, which will be a lot slower. That's what's going to stay out. It's lap 15 out of 29 right now. They've got, I'm going to say, another 1 to 3 laps on these tyres. Depends how far they want to push them, but I think 1 to 3 laps is where they're going to go for. And then they'll take it to that soft tyre. We saw Cohen yesterday, fortunately, get a puncture. He went a little bit too long on the medium tyre. That did end this Grand Prix. 2.4 seconds is the gap that splits these two. For a second, still the gap. He's not closed anything for a minute, but he's not doing too bad of a job. Now a 10th. Let's see what the difference is with straight line speed between these guys looks like. I think Breeze has the advantage. So once again, Darksel isn't doing too well in the straight line. He seems to have an advantage overall anyway, so maybe he's running a little bit more of a higher downforce setup. That's a question that we can ask. He's clutching slowly but surely. Lovely stuff indeed. Unfortunately, he disconnected, and that was it with the load. So yeah, the formation lap, I think he disconnected. He reconnected, and he was a spectator, but he still had control of his car. I think his wheel disconnected. He crashed, and then he left the session. And he says he couldn't reopen his game, and then his AI decided it was just going to drive in a straight line into the wall. It didn't DNF, but it just sat there, spinning its wheels into the wall, and then it disqualified eventually. Unfortunately, that's what's happened. Yeah, not good. So Cody strikes again, and I do honestly, I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I have a question. Are they doing this intentionally to make us more excited for F1 2022? Because if they are, that's wrong. I assume they wouldn't, because that's a very wild guess. But it seems that way at this rate with the bugs that are just returning at the end of the game suddenly. So Darkstar's doing his best, he's closing in. I'm expecting people will start to pit this lap, I think. Maybe the next lap if they don't. So it'll be around lap 18. Unless I've got the pit lane completely wrong and you need to pit lap 20. But I'm pretty sure it's 16 to 18, the pit window. So they've got a few laps left on these tyres, and then they'll start to go to the soft tyres. And of course you can see that Ballant is closing on these hard tyres. Wallow's gone for a set of hard tyres as well. Starting on that medium tyre, Ballant went for the hard tyre. Lalit went for the medium tyre pretty early on, so they're going to have a hard time. They might even get a puncture actually, so they've got to hope that they can manage those tyres. But a big lock up there, you can see the wear on those tyres, the blistering that you get He's closed 2 tenths, I'm pretty sure, in this lap, I think it is. He's closed a very good margin, and I think he's probably going to make the pit stop whether Breezer does or not. If Breezer doesn't, then he'll be able to jump them a little bit and get a nice overcut because these tyres are completely done. Will Breezer go to pit lane? No, he won't. Dark Salt. Okay, won't either. Fair enough. I think he does have a disadvantage in the straights, but he has a very, very nice advantage in the corners, it seems. He has closed a little bit there, but hey ho. It does seem that way with F1 2021. Masters are doing some very weird stuff. Alrighty, so I think that's probably going to be it for tyre life, and they're going to be coming in this lap. If not, then I've completely screwed up the pit stops, and they're going to be actually coming in on about lap 20 maybe. So I think it is at the end of this lap that they'll be pitting. They're only losing time to Balint right now, and I'm not quite sure, but I think at this rate they would probably come out just behind, if not side by side, Balint. Maybe my calculations are completely incorrect, and maybe the pit lane's 18 seconds, I don't know. But right now, I think Balint's going to be leading this Grand Prix once these guys are pitted. Alrighty, Breezer, is he going to go for that pit lane? He's staying out, he's staying out! He wants those fresh tyres! That's what's going to get the undercut. On to the soft still go. Yeah. But Breezer wants some more. He wants some more. He's really asking the car to do that. And there is Balint coming down the start finish straight. You can see him. He's quite far ahead, Dark Salt. But the pace difference will be absolutely immense. Alrighty, so on that soft tire, 3.7 seconds is the gap. That will change pretty quickly. And also, we'll see if Breezer does get jumped by Dark Salt as well. He's definitely going to get jumped by Balint. Just will he come out ahead of Dark Salt or behind? I'm saying he's going to come out behind Dark Salt. We'll see him go into the pit lane very soon, I'm assuming. If not this lap, then the next lap. I swear he's going to be pitting it this lap. I could swear it, but maybe he's trying to prove me wrong here. He proved me wrong back in Hungary, and he won that race. So we'll see. Comes on the final corner, and he is going to pit. So he goes into the pit lane, nice and safely. He's got a few extra laps on these tyres, and he's going to have a bit fresher tyres on the softs. Only one lap, so it might not be that much of a difference, but I didn't actually think of this. Balint's ahead, of course. He's going to be ahead of both cars, and they'll be able to bunch each other up. So Balint actually could cause a bit of a controversial moment for Dark Salt here, because he actually will maybe be a bit of an obstacle in the way, and they're going to come side by side into turn one. I think they do. Lovely stuff. No way. Just about come ahead. I think he might have backed off. It wasn't worth the fight at that stage, but very, very close indeed between these two, as Breezer has to take P3 in the end. Dark Salt takes P2 now, so he just needs to try and jump ahead of Balint here, and they're within DRS range, both of them, and they're going to both be able to close up quite nicely. Breezer at this stage has to focus on getting an amazing exit and put past Balint as well, because he doesn't want to let Dark Salt run away. If Dark Salt runs away, he will have a very good chance at winning. And Balint's made a mistake, and DRS is going to be available for Dark Salt. Breezer has to go for the move now. Balint goes defensive to the inside. He has to get it done now if he doesn't want to lose any more time. And Balint goes to the very inside of the curve on that hard tire. He cannot fight back, and I think that's going to be it. Balint can't fight. Breezer 7/10, and he's got it done. He's done what he had to do. I think Balint, unless he uses a lot of ERS, that's going to be it. That's going to be a podium or lower. He's got to hope he can stay ahead of Lalak on those medium tyres. Watch how that gap changes. But DRS available for Breezer, and the battle for the lead is on. These two have had plenty of battles for the lead recently, and now they're 1v1ing each other. So let's see how it goes. They're both race winners this season, whether it be Friday or Saturday. I think they're both Friday. And they win on Saturday here. Of course, Breezer got those 2 wins on Friday, and then we saw Dark Soul get a win yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday. Not yesterday, he DNF'd yesterday. In Hungary before this. Darksalt won, of course, on Saturday. Darksalt won on Saturday, so he has won races. He has won races here in the Saturday League. He hasn't won in the Friday League. So we'll see if Breezer can either get his first win in the Saturday League, or if Darksalt is going to continue his winning streak for the Saturdays here. Davitz did manage to take the win in the sprint race, but feature race wise, can Darksalt take 2 feature race wins in a row? The RS available once again for Breezer. He's going to be able to catch up. He doesn't have to use the ERS to catch up either. He's not got much. Darksalt's not got much either, so they're pretty much equal on ERS here. And they've got to save that strategically for later. Darksalt learnt a very hard lesson in the sprint race, of course, so he's probably going to try and find a way around it for this one. Breezer, he's got to balance it as well, but he's also got to try and stay with Darksalt. These dirty air sections are really, really difficult to get through, as we saw at QKS. Max Martin was ahead, and all of a sudden his tyres just couldn't cope, and he spun right at the air section that we just went through there. So it is very, very difficult, this circuit. It's easy to get completely wrong, and you have to have a very good setup if you want to win races. It just has to be able to cope with the circuit. It's extremely technical. Almost loses DRS range, does Breezer, but he catches back up into turn 11. He still has a couple more corners to hold on until he gets back to that start-finish straight. He hasn't used really much any ERS, but he hasn't really gained much either. Neither has Darksalt, so they're currently just racing on a pace at the moment. With a little bit of VI. Six tenths, 5 tenths. Gonna make it 4? Can he make it 3? Yes, he can. Maybe even 2. Not quite 2. But he's nice and close into the second DRS straight, but he's not going to get a good enough exit to fight. At this stage, I'm sure he wouldn't really intend on fighting anyway. And it's nice to look at the stats. Still needs to save ERS if he does want to try and have an attempt at winning this Grand Prix, though. I don't know what Darksalt's doing on ERS. Not too much more. So they're pretty much equal on ERS management, you should say. They're not gaining or losing much. Maybe Darksalt's gaining a tiny bit, but Breezer isn't. Alrighty. Once again, we're at the same stage of the race as we were last lap. DRS wise for the top 2. I don't think it's really going to be possible. We've got Breezer in P3 in the podium positions right now. A very nice gap between everybody around them, so it looks like it's going to be a solid P3. We have Lalak, of course, on that medium tyre, but they're not catching, unfortunately, to Balint. Then we have Wallow in P5 looking for some points, and of course David's car is an AI car. So, Breezer catches up again. Back to that 3/10 zone, but he won't be able to get a good enough exit, nor will he get enough ERS to get a move done. He's just stuck at this stage. I know it's easier said than done to save ERS. Sometimes you just want to use a bit to make sure you stay within the car ahead, and it's not that easy. Like, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. But I don't know. He's got to have confidence that he can stay within Dark Salt and not lose DRS without using any ERS. He's actually closer this lap, I think, than he has been before. Dark Salt is maybe going to be under pressure. He was about a 10th closer than he's ever been. Well, I say ever been. In the last couple of laps, I should say. Now, instead of a 7/10 gap on this final straight, he's got a 6/10 gap. So that would be a 2/10 gap into turn 1, but very close to the 5/10 range. And of course, the closer you get, I think the more powerful it goes, really. It just depends on who gets the better exit, and I think Breezer might have a good opportunity to go for a move here, if my calculations are correct. He'll close, he'll get the 2/10, and he get the 1, or is that just going to be it? He does get to 2/10, but he just doesn't have the power to push for a move. I think if he had the ERS, it would have been an opportunity presenting itself, but right now that's going to be it. Lap 25 out of 29, the closing stages of this Grand Prix. And Breezer is just trying to make sure he puts the pressure on. Nobody's got any time penalties this race. So they're staying very, very clean. But they still need to make it to the end of this race. We don't know what the warnings are for each driver, but you just got to hope that they don't have any. Alrighty. Although a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so I spoke a bit too soon, but look at this. Breezer is having a look at Dark Salt here for the first time. Not going to go for the move. He's getting nice and close, but he's just going to wait behind. Maybe try and fake Dark Salt into relaxing. Maybe later on he'll try and make a move. I'm not quite sure. He's nice and close again, but into turn 4 it's not a long enough run. It's not going to be an overtaking opportunity. Alrighty. Still waiting for a move to be done. He's closer than ever. Just going to not make any mistakes here. And he is saving ERS now. He's started to save it a little bit. A couple of laps to do so, but it will help. Dark Salt, he's not saving at all. So Breezer, he plays this right, he'll have a very, very good shot at winning this Grand Prix. You also got to make sure Dark Salt's tyres are good. One lap shouldn't really be that much different, but it could be. It could be around a high tyre wear circuit, or maybe not high tyre wear, but a very demanding tyre. I don't know what I'm saying. Into turn 1. Gonna get close, he's gonna have a look. You can see that Dark Salt's battery is flashing. A bit of a cheeky tap. Can't do that too many times, but he'll get away with it once at least. As long as it doesn't cause any issues. He's nice and close though. He is closing a little bit. There's a very, very tight line into turn 5. You can see it does gain him initial time, and it did gain him quite nice exit time. Dark Salt taking a slightly wider line was actually able to still have a pretty competitive line, and he didn't actually lose any time, maybe even gain some by doing it. A bit of a tap there, another one for Breezer. That's on the left-hand side of the wing, so you only want to hit the nose cone if you are going to tap the car ahead. If you go on the wing side, it's going to be a little bit difficult, and it might cause you damage. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So, taking that tighter line, it makes it more difficult for Breezer to get on the power. But it can get the car rotated a lot quicker, of course. Obviously. But Dark Salt, taking a slightly wider line, not going to have to brake as hard. And he's not going to have to reach as much. Well, he's not going to have to regain all that speed. But what an exit we just saw from Breezer, and he's going to be a lot closer. Dark's goes slightly defensive, but it's never going to be enough if he's that close, and he's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 28 out to 29. Already lap 28, and I don't know, was that a good idea or not? Was that a good idea? DRS available once again for Dark Salt. Is he going to go for the move? He's using ERS, and I thought he was actually going to go for it there. Goes a little bit defensive, goes Breezer, so he's going to have a lovely switchback attempt, maybe? No. He's going to have to wait for now. But that was still a very interesting manoeuvre from Breezer. He's waited for so long, and now he's gone for the move. So unless he knows that he's got a lot of pace, Dark Salt is going to be able to get DRS onto the final lap and make the move. Of course, we saw earlier with Reese and Balint fighting. There was still a moment they had together in turn 11. I say moment, it was just an overtake attempt. So it's definitely not over until the end of the lap. But it will be a lot easier for Dark Salt to make that move. So no ERS for either driver now. And Dark Salt should be able to take the lead pretty easily. We now start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Breezer leads, goes very defensive to the inside line, back to the outside line as he's trying his best to break the toe. He has to hold his line now, he can't do any more. Dark Salt goes to the inside, he has to leave the space. Now, will he get the DRS? Will he get a good enough run? Yes, he will! Yes, he will! He's got the DRS! ERS is absolutely nothing for either of them. To the outside line he goes, and he's going to take the move. He's going to secure it. There's a tap. There's a tap between the two. I think he tried to get a switchback, but he was way too close. His last opportunity really is going to be on the DRS rate, or maybe into turn 8, but he's not close enough to get a move here onto turn 8. It would be very desperate if he did. Now, got to get through turn 10. He's got to get a good exit here. He's got to absolutely nail it if he wants to get a good move here. Takes the curve, unfortunately. That's going to lose him a bit of time. He squabbles for the traction on the exit. He's using everything he can, but I think that might be it. Dark Salt, he's ahead, and no ERS for either driver. That is going to be an extreme advantage because they can't use any extra energy boost. And Dark Salt, there's just a couple more corners to go. We're going to come around the final corner, and Breezer's actually a lot closer than I thought. They're closing a little bit. They've got one final corner to go, and they will go for it. But I'm going to go on board with this man as he's coming around the final corner. Is it going to be enough? I think it is. Dark Salt wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, and Breezer in P2. What a job. What a job. Lovely stuff. It says 29 seconds, but that's not quite the case. You've got Balint taking a lovely podium. Well done. That's the championship leader, and I think he might have just held on. I don't know with Dark Salt doing what he just did, but he might, in theory, have just held on to the championship lead. We'll have to go and check that out later, but really helping Red Bull with the constructors there goes Dark Salt. Larlock is going to come across the line to take P4 in the end, and Wallow is going to score 10 points for Haas. So very, very good job. Well done. And they've got the car to the end of the race on that hard tyre. Not an easy tyre to actually drive on, so I salute them, honestly. I wouldn't go for it. A very loose moment there, but they managed to control it nicely. But what a race we just had. Dark Salt manages to take it in the end. I would like to know what that gap actually is. Unfortunately, we won't actually get to find out because of the bug. But yeah, that is very, very good racing between these guys. Darksalt wins once again. Reza just not able to get it, but it was so close. It was so close there between the two. Driver of the day is Darksalt. He disconnected from the race, actually, if we remind ourselves, early on in the Grand Prix. Disconnected a lot yesterday, so it wasn't looking hopeful, but he's defied all the odds, and he's done a very, very good job. Well done, Darksalt. Very well deserved. Darksalt wins, Breezer P2, Ballin in P3, Larlick finishes P4, and then Wallow finishes off the grid. DNFing was Davins and Reese, I should say, disconnecting, really. And a fastest lap for Darksalt as well, so solid maximum points there for the feature race. And then we'll skim through the drivers and pit stop section, and then we will go away and get ready for the post-race interviews, and we'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1, or LSI Summer Season, I should say, the Bahrain Grand Prix post-season interviews. We're not going to have any interviews today, but we still will have a quick look at the standings and a quick word of what happened. Yeah, we'll do that. So straight into the standings, we'll have a quick look. So we have Balin leading the way once again. He holds the lead, but only by 1 point now, as Dark Souls right there behind in 50. And then we have Larlock into P3. I think they stay P3 actually, as they were already, and they're on 38 points. And then we have Brody into P4, not able to attend, so that's going to be it. But that, luckily for him, is his race ban done with, and he will now be able to score points for the next race. And Breezer finds himself into the top 5 with 26 points, so he's pretty close as well. Now, after that one, yes, the attendance wasn't really too much, and of course, the game quality has been pretty sketchy, I'd say, with Codemasters, and I do apologise for that, and I hope they do fix it, and I don't want to slate them for it, because they do make these lovely F1 games for us, but unfortunately, it's not really acceptable. And yeah, it does ruin the racing, but for the most part, we did have some really, really good driving. It was some really, really good battling, and it was really enjoyable to see. So I want to thank everybody for that. It was really, really, really nice and really good to watch and commentate on. So yeah, great stuff. Well done to Davins and Dark Souls today for their wins. Well done to everybody who battled them as well. Breezer put on a very, very good fight. And yeah, everybody that attended, thank you very much for the effort. I do appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you next weekend for the Canadian Grand Prix, the final one in the F1 2021 game. And then we'll move on to a little bit of a break, and then the F1 2022 game for the rest of the season for a final few rounds. That'll be 4 rounds in the F1 2022 game. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week at Canada. Good night. Of course, Grajak, just send me a message on Discord.